Everybody, it's Invictus. Time another right here, the Binding of Isaac Victor Repentance Plus series. Happy Saturday, Mosh Pit. I hope your weekends are going off to a fantastic start. Hopefully better than our November runs have been. Thank you all very much for the support here. Here's your meme of the day, brought to you by Prestigious Turn 268 on this Invictus subreddit. Top thread was the unexpected boss rush from episode 335. Victor doing boss rush. D6 waiting patiently. The world reverse card. Crawl space not knowing what it did wrong. I mean, I don't know why they changed it, because it used to open up, you could go into the crawl space and then you could just exit, and it was quite nice. We were not doing greed. That was the last episode here. So I am actually recording this on Friday before the Pokemon stream. Once again, we have Patrick Bones' haircut. I don't know how we keep getting the alpaca cut. Kilo Alpha 4 November, Kilo Delta Sierra Yankee. And we're starting off, we're starting off here kind of interesting with the Satanic Bible. I mean, it is going to be one of those times where we get to prove whether or not the Satanic Bible is good or bad, depending on how you look at it and how you start. We also have good damage, good tears rate, and our passive item is the Paschal Candle, which is going to give us a tears rate upgrade every time we clear a room without taking any damage. Now, that is my type of item, and I wish that there were more skill-based items in the game. Revolving around no hitting, revolving around hitting accurate shots like Deadeye, that sort of stuff. I would love to see that kind of stuff happen in Isaac in future content, which of course we're not going to get. Oh snap, we got ourselves a planetarium up in here. But yeah, I am recording this literally about 20 minutes, not 20 minutes, sorry, about an hour and a half before the Pokemon stream on Friday. So I'm speak of the devil. We got ourselves a D-Sizzle. I can't pass that up. I am going to use I will use the Satanic Bible after we're done. Oh my gosh. Oh man, don't get me started on these freaking barrels. So, wow, we have so many soul hearts, man. If we can get into the planetarium with a key, no. We might be able to bomb our way in there, but we would still need a bomb or a key, so. Although this bomb would pay for itself, so maybe there's a bomb inside of the secret room. It's possible, because I know the secret room is below the shop and above the planetarium. So we get that. We get set. Okay, so we're gonna go on into ye olde boss room. I'm not going to use Satanic Bible yet because I do not want a devil deal to usurp our boss item. And it's going to be Famine. Now, well, it actually wouldn't have even mattered, because even if I had used the Satanic Bible, we would have still gotten an orbital, but we'd have had to pay HP for it. So I was right to not use it, at least. And for once, shockingly, surprisingly, we did not get a ginormous first floor. Wow. This is a standard classic first floor Isaac right here. And we also have the D6 we're going to leave with, because I am not playing with Satanic Bible on this one here. We have enough soul hearts to make it, and also the D6 is just going to be great. I guess I technically could have rolled the Bandage Girl, but I was thinking about rolling it in the item room. By it, I mean the Satanic Bible, so we would have left with one or the other. And yeah, I'd rather go for Shoot the Moon and go for something great in the item room with the D-Sizzle. We're leaving here with 7 HP, which is a fantastic start. Good tears, good damage, kind of bad movement speed, and okay. Oh mercy! Are we back? Are we back, Mosh Pit? Are we finally ready to turn the corner here as we head towards the almost midpoint of November? I mean, it's only November 8th, so let's not get ahead of ourselves here, Poindexter. We got on the last week's question of the episode here, coming in from Win or Lose 300, who said, question of the episode, would you add an item that delays your input by 0.5 seconds but gives you 2x stats for every stat, or just 2x stats for tears, damage, and speed? No, I would not. I would not add any input delay to this game. That is you're basically asking for a perma almost like a perma online, not optimized version of the multiplayer, but in single player. No stat would be worth that, in my opinion, anyway. So I'm sure the uber elite players out there will be like, "Oh, that's a no-brainer. We could get so many wins with this one." No, when I get And I know I'm set in my ways. I'm stubborn. You know, I'm a Taurus. I get that. That's just part of me. But anything that would affect my input delay at all is just an automatic no. Now, just for trying it out, you know, it could be fun to see if it's good, but I definitely would not want an item in there, especially playing as an Eden player. I would not want to start with that. So yeah, so officially no, but if it was in the game, it might be fun to mess around with, but I wouldn't get your hopes up. But speaking of the barrels, I lost my 66 win streak, the YouTube save file, or not YouTube save file, the Twitch save file win streak the other day on stream because I picked up the finger, and it was the exact scenario that I always warn against. But since we were on the Twitch file, I was like, whatever, you know. So I started off with 1 HP, and the first room that the game put me in, the literal first room, was that barrel-lined top and bottom room. You know, the one that has sometimes the pushable barrel, sometimes not. And it was unavoidable. When I mean unavoidable, I mean it was literally unavoidable, because in order for me to shoot the barrels or move, I had to shoot and point the finger, right? Well, I can't walk, because if I pointed, if this is the barrel room I'm talking about, if I'm pointing down like this and not firing, this barrel explodes, right? So I had to fire like this, but I can't do that because there's the movable barrel that's usually right here, and then this one would explode. So it was a literal impossibility of me getting out of there alive. And I was like, yep, I mean, there you go. That is the reason why I tell people, do not ever take the finger, because it is just not worth it. We have no keys here. Guppy's tail is useless for us right now. Yeah, we get rid of... Yeah, there we go. I hate to roll Guppy's tail like that, but we cannot do that right now. We weren't even able to go into the freaking planetarium because we had no keys. So obviously I was pretty upset about that. And I didn't even have a bomb, so I could get out of there. We did that. I didn't have a bomb, so I could get out of the room. It was just it was the game literally pressing the I win button. And it's that kind of thing that ultimately will end up ending this streak. Something like that, where I'm like, yeah, you know, it's fun trying to take it, and let's just see what happens. It's the greatest run of all time. You know, something like that, and I feel like it is inevitable, which is the reason why I don't take risks. I mean, there's a very, very good reason why I do not have particular items in the game. And I don't like particular items in the game, and that one right there is the reason why I always tell people, don't take the finger. Most people are like, oh, well, it's free. It's free real estate. It's free damage. No, it's not. It puts you in an unwinnable situation where you accidentally hit a barrel, or you have no choice but to hit a barrel to try to get out of there. It just doesn't work like that. So, yeah, bottom line, finger is permanently banned. You will never see me take it. Oh, we had a lot more HP than I was expecting. I do not want to go in the curse room yet because we have that that naked bone heart there. I also do not want to take this eternal heart yet because I don't want to lose that HP upgrade. Placing your bets, what's the over under on the possibility of Sinvicta forgetting about this eternal heart before leaving the floor? I'd say pretty high. Yeah, I'd say pretty dang high. So we were able to fill the bone heart. Now you might be asking yourself, why would you not take the eternal heart? Well, the problem with bone hearts is that if you get an eternal heart for whatever reason, I don't know why, for whatever magical reason, the eternal heart will go to the front of the bone heart, regardless of where the bone heart is on your HP bar. Normally, it would go into the backmost red heart container. It used to anyway. Now it doesn't do that. Now it goes to the front. So you've got to protect it, and it's very easy to lose. Endora's Bizzle. Take a roll here. Yeah, we'll take Tears Upgrade. Not that we needed it, but obviously with Cricket's body, we're going to be absolutely flying with our fire rate. We're also flying with our Spectral Tears as well as, well, flying, thanks to Spirit of the Night. But yeah, we just cannot take Guppy's tail in that spot, even with the D6. No, it doesn't make much sense. Wow, we get another tier-breaking item here, and now we get Guppy's collar. So now the game's gonna be like, oh, well, you made a big deal about you having Curse of the Twos. Well, take this. Look, you could have had Guppy. I know. This is how it goes. I know. It's coded, straight up coded. Go back and pick up this Soul Harp. So I have a very fun dentist story for you all here. And don't worry, it's not gross or anything like that. It's just a story. It's a story of Sinvicta dealing with the hilarity of life, I guess, in a way. So I had as everyone knows, I had a crown put in about maybe 2 weeks ago now, I guess, since this is coming out on Saturday. Yeah, about 2 weeks ago. After my tooth, my one of my molars pretty much collapsed on itself. It was one of the, not the molars, but the premolar. I don't know what they call it. Anyway, I got that crowned, and they put it on, and everything was honky dory. You know, I was feeling with the temporary crown, I was feeling a little bit of not greatness there, and it was very sensitive to cold, etc., etc. But with it being a fresh crown, I figured, yeah, you know, that's fine, whatever. So the dentist, keep in mind, this is a new dentist now that I'm going to. This was not my usual dentist that I've been going to since I was like a wee lad. And I chose to go to this place because A, my usual dentist's office was not open at the time when the tooth collapsed, and B, this is a much closer location to where I am rather than my old one, which was about, without exaggerating, about almost half an hour to 45 minutes away. Yeah, let's go. Let's bomb in here. Let's see. Maybe we get some extra coins here. We need keys badly. I should go back to the shop to go get keys real quick, if we can. So I switched to this closer place because I was like, yeah, you know, it'd be nice not to have to drive half an hour each way to go to the dentist office. Ooh, hang on a second. Hang on now. Come on now. Roll into a cheap full charge here. We can go roll in the curse room. So, I got the crown, and honestly, this crown, it was the smoothest. Oh wow, it was the smoothest crown that I've ever gotten put in. Usually, when you get a crown on, it's like it's tight, and around where the sorry, I'm getting a text from Mama Victor. She asked me about something. Usually, the teeth around where they did the crown are usually pretty tight fitting. At least mine have been. Curse of the Blind. So, I was impressed with this place. It was a very smooth crown replacement. No problems at all. The day that I went to get the permanent one on, though, I was in some pretty decent pain. I'd say probably a 4, maybe a 5. After they put the rubber cement on and adhered the permanent crown there, so it did subside after a couple days. So I was like, okay, fine, whatever. So I had a follow-up, or at least what I thought was a follow-up, this week. It was on Thursday, so basically for me yesterday, but for you all day before yesterday. And it was originally going to be in the afternoon, and they texted me and they said, hey, we had an opening come in if you want to go early. And so I was like, I was still up from the night before. I was actually about to get in bed when they texted me. And I said, no, you know what? Let me just go do the follow-up now because I can at least, I'll go to bed at like like 11 o'clock because they had me for 10:30. And then that way I can sleep without having to worry about my alarm, that I can stream after getting a good night's sleep, blah, 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 blah. Because again, keep in mind, I thought that I was just going in for a follow-up for the crown, the permanent crown. So to my surprise, when I get there, they've got all sorts of tools and all sorts of devices that they've got lined up for me, and they said that I had to do a comprehensive medical exam, like getting full imaging of my mouth, everything for the doctor, for the dentist, since I was planning on making this the new dentist that I go to. Notice how I said planning on. It's gonna happen. I told you. Look, I told you it's coded. So, I go through with the medical exam, and they did full imaging. I mean, they took so many X-rays. They put me in like one of those neat 360 cameras where you got to bite down, and then the camera like goes like surround, like rotates your head and stuff, that kind of stuff. And that process took about an hour. And keep in mind, I've been up all night, so I'm already pretty tired. So then the hygienist came in and started talking to me about some things, and she said, yeah, we got the dentist coming up here. He needs to look at this and look at this, blah 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 blah, because you have some issues. And I said, okay, well, I mean, I know that. My teeth. I drink soda. I like candy. I understand the consequences of my action, as any normal, well-adjusted adult would. So the dentist comes in, and he starts talking to the hygienist, saying, okay, so this tooth has got to go. We got to replace these crowns here. This one's going to need this. This one's going to need an implant, blah, blah, blah. And I don't appreciate how they're going about this, because I'm literally sitting in the chair, and they're not even talking to me. They're talking amongst themselves. So already I'm a little bit peeved off about that. But I'm like, whatever. Maybe he's busy. He's just trying to get through the day. So I kind of ignore it. And then he said, okay, so sit next to me and I'll show you what we got going on. He starts pointing to all these areas on the x-ray, saying this is decay, this tooth needs to come out, literally telling me that this tooth needs to come out, one of my molars, keep in mind. And I started getting a little skeptical when he started talking about getting titanium implants and this stuff for these teeth that he's planning on removing. And I said, I pumped the brakes. I said, wait a second. Hang on. I thought I was just coming in to get the permanent crown and the sensitivity looked at, because I was still experiencing cold sensitivity after the permanent crown. That's what I thought I was here for. I didn't know that I was going to be doing some crazy exam, and then now they're telling me that, oh man, you got to get this and this and this and this. Whenever I'm told by anyone, a medical professional, whoever who's assisting me in trying to fix something, whenever they're like, oh yeah, this is bad, you got to get this one done, blah blah blah, the intended effect is to make the person feel like it's an emergency, like you've got to do this now, otherwise your teeth you're going to lose your teeth. That's what they told me. They said you're going to lose your teeth if this is not taken care of. And when I hear something like that, it's the exact opposite for me in my mind. Whenever I hear someone saying just sensational crap like that, saying, yeah, your teeth are going to fall out tomorrow if you don't take care of this, I immediately go from this person's trying to help me to I'm trying to be sold something. And that's how I kind of felt as this conversation continued. And I did not like that. Let me put it another way for those of you who've never experienced something like this. Imagine taking a car in for an oil change, right? Just a simple oil change, nothing more, nothing less. You have nothing scheduled. It's just an expectation of an oil change, right? And then picture the mechanic saying, oh man, like, hey, glad you came in here. We found this and this and this and this and this problem. You're lucky that you came in today, because now your car is going to be doing this. And, it felt like that. It felt like I was trying to be, someone's trying to run game on me, and not in a good way. And so that's how I was feeling about 25% into that conversation when the doctor started telling me, yeah, you're going to need, that tooth's got to go because look at this, you know. And this is where life lesson Victa comes out. If you are a patient, a doctor can point to a chart and just say this is that, and there's no recourse, right? Who am I to know? I'm not a dentist. I'm not a medical student. I don't know what this person's telling me. You just kind of have to go off of what the doctor's telling you, right? I would think that's the normal responsibility of, or that's the normal reaction of any patient. You just expect that this person is there telling you the truth, you know. And I'm not saying that they're lying, but my point is that they could be telling you something that is not necessarily true. You could point to a dentist can point to a dark spot on a jawline and say, yeah, this is bad decay, this is an infection here. You're not going to know any better, right? It's like, oh man, that sounds bad type thing, right? So with that in mind, I'm already skeptical at this point, and my BS meter starts going off when they give me the bill. They have this huge long treatment plan. I'm talking, this was literal pages of treatment plans. So I got to get the roots and the base of the teeth scraped, and I got to have this antibacterial treatment for this active gingivitis infection that the hygienist told me I have. She told me that I have an active infection. I'm like, well, that's weird, because she said it's because when she was doing the little poke test that they do with the hook, that my gum started bleeding. I'm like, well, yeah, you poked it with the sharp hook, and it's gonna bleed, you know, and that's just it. That doesn't mean I have an infection in my mind necessarily, anyway. But I digress. So she said, yeah, right now you have an active gingivitis infection. If you do not take care of it, you will lose your teeth. That is God strike me down. That's her exact words. So, and once I heard that, I said, okay. And then they show me this laundry list of things that I need to get done, right? And already in my mind, I'm thinking, nah, this is a circus clown show. They're trying to sell me something now. It was everything from a $26 toothpaste that was supposedly going to help out with dry mouth for CPAP users, to telling me that I'm going to need a $1,000 planar root scraping thing, you know. And I did talk to Mama Victa. She said she's gotten one of those, but it's never cost that much. And also, she says that she's done it once in her life, and it was to clean up an infection that she actually had. Yeah. Well, I guess Juice the Shadow, we didn't need it because we already have 9 lives. I'm too busy gabbing over here. So anyway, so you can kind of see where I'm going with this, right? So I talked to Mama Victa, and she said, and usually my instinct is pretty spot on whenever I detect BS from a mile away. And I no longer was in the mindset of this dentist is trying to help me. They're trying to sell me some stuff. So I called after talking to Mama Victa, I called my regular dentist, who she was working on Thursday, but she was busy. So I talked to the head lady clerk person at the beginning, the receptionist. That's the word. I talked to her, and I basically explained the situation. She's known me for a long time. And she said, well, where did you go? Like, which office did you go to? I don't think we're gonna make it. She said, well, which office did you go to? And I told her, I said, oh, it's this place and this place. And she said, oh no. That was her exact reaction, was, oh no. I said, oh no, what? She said, is it the place off of blah blah blah? And I said, yes. She said, oh no. So I'm thinking, what are they they're trying to harvest my organs? They're gonna steal my car? Like, what's going on here? She said, well, I don't know who works there now, but I knew the owner, and let's just say he had some problems. So I'm thinking, well, that's great. That's what you want to hear about a place that you've never been to. So that's cool. And she didn't want to elaborate, to just be professional and be, proper or whatever. She said, I won't say any more over the phone. I said, okay, well, you're going to have to talk to me then. on Tuesday, and basically she said she told me, she said you were right to look for a second opinion because a lot of that doesn't make sense if what you're telling me is true. And so she said I need to get the x-rays, I need to get the charts, the treatment plan, the whole shebang that they did, so my real dentist could look at it. And without any precursor, I'm not going to try to sway what they told me from her. I just want to see what she says and see if there's any correlation and overlap between what she says, my actual dentist, versus these lunatics. And she said that's a good idea. So the interesting thing is, the fun thing is that I called this office back and I told them, I said, hey, you know, I would like to have my x-rays and my charts and all this stuff just for my own records. That's a common thing I do, which is not true at all, but look, I'm just trying to get them. And so they're like, yeah, no problem. I called them on the day of. This is still Thursday by now. And guess what happened? He guessed. Any guesses in the mosh pit? They didn't send them. The Curse of the Blind. Yeah, they didn't send the x-rays. So I had to today, after physical therapy, I had to call them again, say, hey, someone told me I spoke to so and so. They told me that she was gonna give me my records and that, and she never sent them. She said, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, we'll get those to you. So they sent them to me, and now I have them, and I'm going to forward them to my actual dentist to see what she says. I guess the point of my story is, in this whole ramble, I guess my point is that from what I've learned over the last 90 years is doctors are doctors for a reason. They're smart people. They went through everything. They know what they're doing most of the time. But in my experience, I would say always try to get a second opinion, especially if it's someone that you're unfamiliar with or a place of business you've never been to before. That's my life lesson rant of the day, because it was very upsetting to feel like that. And I wasn't like crying or anything. I was kind of peeved off because I'm like, look, dude, I came in here for a follow-up and you're trying to sell me a whole freaking Mercedes. Sorry about that. Mavicta had to call. Yeah, I like to share stories like that. Not as a, I mean, first off, it's a good sign that we're on a good run because I can just do that without having to worry or think about Isaac. Secondly, and most importantly, I think that it could actually help somebody who you might be. How are we in range of that, by the way? You might be kind of feeling like if you're in that similar situation or something like that. Anything can help. You never know how commentary can help somebody through stuff. So that's why I do it. I know it's not the most exciting thing to listen to whenever you've trying to just watch a gaming video, but hey, I try to keep things entertaining, dude. Cricket's body is ruining me with these bomb movements. Okay, that one doesn't even make sense, game. Could definitely use a little bit of extra damage here. Our movement speed is still also very, very, very bad. You got me the first time, Stanley. You ain't gonna get me this time. I am happy that at least we have card reading. It's gonna help us out quite a bit. We don't have we need to get a full charge on the D-Sizzle though, so we can have a reroll on the in the dark chest here. Of course, I don't like being down to 1 HP, but what can you do? All right, there's our reroll. I'm still gonna do a little bit more exploring here. Maybe we can find a Soul Heart or two. Kind of strengthen our position before we head to the dark room. I'm gonna get PTSD from these freaking barrels now, man. I was so mad. As you can expect, your boy was not happy after that. The stream was not happy too. They were like, wow, yeah. And it's as silly as it sounds, and I know that Isaac is just a game, obviously. But it's a game that I've spent a lot of time with. And there are reasons why there are just items I won't take. There's items that I won't do. That's why I don't take pills. You know, and people like to make fun of me for it. And that's you know, I don't care about that. There's a method to the madness, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. There's a reason why I do not like certain items. It's not just blind bias or something like that. There are legitimate strategical reasons why there are items in there that I just will not refuse. I just refuse to take, and the finger is now one of them. But I was always wary about the finger anyway. But now it is firmly planted in the absolute positive blacklist. You will never see me take it again willingly. So our little expedition did work out very well. We got the full charge for the D6. We also have a bone heart. And of course, the black soul heart from the skull is going to help us out and get us through this run. Did not get a red portal, but that doesn't really matter because obviously we've got the Emperor card and we are going to get Guppy. Guppy. We got the Gupster. Now we can re-roll. We don't need Guppy's tail. Lost Soul Buddy. Check him out now. Watch, there's going to be an item pedestal in here. Knew it. I freaking knew it. Now we're going to have to get a full charge. Okay. All right, November. I'm going to give you a chance here. We're only in day 8 of November, so, you know, there's still hope. I don't know why that one went behind us, but... And November is just itching to place bombs right next to us here. I recognize the telltale signs here, game. I've had a lot of people over the years tell me they enjoy those sort of life stories too, or the absurdity that is some of the things that I have to go through from time to time. Whether it be a ridiculous dentist office visit, or me opening my mouth during an optometrist exam. Yeah. We have fun around here. But it is interesting because people also in a non-parasocially way, okay. In a non-parasocially way, feel that they get to know me a little bit better. They know what type of person I am, and I'm fine with that, because that the person that you hear every single day for these Isaac videos and other videos, but obviously Isaac is a big part of a lot of people's lives. The person that you hear here is the real person that I am. And I've always talked about how, you know, it's easy to be yourself. There's no front, there's no lying, no anything like that. It's just me being me. Second seed, Alpha 6 Lima Juliet 4 Papa 3 Delta. These portals do not exist because we are in the victory lap. Also, if you notice my shadow, we're gonna have to go back to the menu real quick because it's doing that phasing thing. But it kind of draws people to the channel a little bit more, and they oh we can do that now. Apparently we can leave. Okay, so if you have card reading and you're on a victory lap, apparently going down to the exit, or not exit, but going to the main menu and then going back into the run gives you your portals back. Interesting. We learned something today. It gives people a little bit more of an anchor, more security, knowing that there's a real person who's doing these videos and not just another actor or whatever. And I think I think ultimately that's how my channel has grown so slowly but steadily over the last 10 years or so. You know, because people feel more attached to the videos. You know you're getting a real person speaking to you like real people, not just numbers on analytics and that sort of stuff. And that's why I love seeing the life pictures from the mosh pit. I love seeing people's kids. It's a joy to see people watching the videos from around the world. And you know, that will never fully sink in with me until probably I'm old and gray. Of just what an awesome opportunity it is to be here and do this every single day, and being able to share with you these stupid little silly life stories, and you know, me getting mad at a video game, that kind of stuff. It's a magical existence, and I couldn't be happier. And well, that I guess that worked out in a way, kind of. With us re-rolling into an XL floor. Usually it's the opposite. Usually if you find you start an XL floor, you go hit a 5 room, and then you recycle the XL floor into 2 extra floors. So technically we kind of got the same result, except in reverse. I've never seen it reverse before. So very, very curious, this run. It's a good run though. I mean, our damage is nothing special. Our tears rate's amazing because of Pascal Candle, and of course having the eye drops, and the big one, which of course is going to be Cricket's body, giving us those tier cap breaking abilities. We still have the flat file, so that means that mimic chests like that one, curse rooms, etc., those are all going to not pose any kind of problem or risk. And flat file's been secretly kind of carrying us here, getting us into these curse rooms. Getting Guppy is great, of course. We looking all right. We looking okay. We don't really have too much luck here, so 0.93 luck is not going to matter that much for Tough Love. Okay, Cricket's body. We need to talk. Need you to stop this weird reverse bomb placement thing you're doing. I know that it's from the fractal tears or whatever, but you're killing me. You're trying to kill me. Tranger 1944 on last week's episode said they posted a timestamp. They said, pretty sure the like streak isn't getting completed because likes with ad blockers enabled don't count anymore. Same with views. That is something that I've thought about and discussed on stream, and I think we talked about it on a YouTube live stream as well. It demonstrates how difficult it is to do this as a career when your overlords are changing the way the game works without you having any input in it at all. So, you know, who's to say whether or not that is the problem of why we haven't been hitting the like streak goal? It's a more concerning problem, I would say, that way than the other one, which is that people just aren't liking the videos as much. Ourselves a crawl space here. We don't need any more money. Ooh, we got a black market up in here. We have no reroll. I mean, we could get a bunch of rerolls here, but yeah, not a great black market. So yeah, it's very frustrating sometimes as a YouTuber to try to figure out what YouTube wants you to do and what they don't want you to do. You know, back in the demonetization days, if you could believe it, I was having every video was getting partially demonetized, and without any reason, without any explanation, nothing, just absolute radio silence from YouTube. I only got help because I was privileged enough to know people who worked at YouTube or were big enough on YouTube to know to use their influence with their managers to help me out at the time anyway. And it sucks having to go that far, but it's not just YouTube that it's like that, or for people who are streamers, for example. There are no, I'm an idiot. I was too hasty with the black rune, and we slurped up the D-Sizzle, man. Oh well, we already got Guppy. It's okay. Done slurped up our D-sizzle. Yeah, just try it in here. We are skipping our portal. Excuse me? Oh. You're orange fight. Yep. No, you don't get to live through that. But it's not just exclusive to YouTube with the crypticness and and you know, it's not about who you are, it's about who you know. That's how the world is. That's how the world's always been. Metallica tried to teach us that on track 3 of the Black Album. Not who you are, it's who you know. From Holier Than Thou, off the Black Album. And it still rings true today. I'll give you another example. With Twitch TV. As you may or may not know, I've been streaming on Twitch long before it was Twitch. I was streaming on it back when it was Justin TV. When we actually had... There were no real life streamers. It was just gaming. It was the best of times. And the payout for people was 50-50. If you were partnered or if you weren't, you know, if you were partnered, it was 50-50 payout for the subs, for the paid subs, that sort of thing. Great devil deal, by the way. And my contract had been like that since 2014 is when I was first partnered with Twitch. This is after they came to Twitch, obviously. I got my partnership on Valentine's Day of 2014. And so I very much was excited about that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can make a little bit of money from doing this. This is the dream right here. Which of course it was. And come to find out that there's 2 separate tiers of being subbed back at those days, being a partner. There was the have and have-nots, basically. One of them, the haves, had a 70-30 split of revenue and subs and advertisement and all that kind of good stuff. And the have-nots was split 50-50. Now, unbeknownst to me, for the longest time, I did not know that there was a 70-30 split option for certain people. It was only a select few streamers at the time. And, of course, I wasn't big by any means, but I knew people, right? And finally, when I started to really think about it, this is after many years of being partnered. At least 5 or 6 years had gone by since then. After many years, I finally got hooked up with a Twitch partner manager because numbers were doing well. This is after Repentance came out and stuff. So it's about 2020, 2021, around there. I got in contact with I was assigned an actual Twitch manager back when they were real people and not just, you know, AI bots now. And my now ex-manager, because he no longer works with Twitch, he was like, hey, so you know, in our sort of introductory meeting, whatever, he wanted me to bring concerns or whatever, and I said, hey, yeah, so my main concern calling you was, we were on Discord, was I want to talk about my split, because I now know that there's a 70-30 split, and I've been on 50-50 for whatever, and his exact words were, you're on 50-50? You've been partnered for how long? I said 6-7 years now. He said, oh man, hang on one second. And just like that, I'm not going to name him because he's a good guy, but he was helping me out. Literally, snap of the fingers, I was no longer 50-50. I was a 70-30 partner, and I still have that contract to this day. So, and I was upset. I've talked about this before on Isaac. I was upset because I'm like, man, if you're telling me that Twitch has been taking all this money from me this entire time, and all I needed to do was talk to the right person, that's ridiculous. But that is literally how the industry is. That is how new media industry is. If you're not in the know, or you don't conform to whatever they want you to, you're going to be an outlier. And you're going to be held back. You're not going to be promoted. You're not going to be anything like that. You're going to get the worst splits without people telling you. And that was always concerning to me about Twitch, which is the reason why I've never really had a whole lot of love for Twitch. I love the Twitch Mosh Pit, of course. But Twitch as an organization, I am not high on at all. Any good people that were working there are no longer there. It's been like that for many, many, many years. Which is why you'll never see me going to a TwitchCon. Amongst other reasons, of course. There's no reason for Damocles at this point. The nicest thing that Twitch ever did for me, and it did make me feel good, it made me feel special, was on my 10-year partnerversary, which was last year. They came in. It was actual Twitch. It wasn't like a staff member. It was the actual Twitch account. They had seen my tweet celebrating my 10 years being partnered, and they came in. They gifted, I think it was like 50 subs or whatever, and they also gave me it was about I think it was the $50 bit, like the 5,000 bits, which is Twitch's currency of trade. Basically, 1 bit equals 1 cent. And they said thanks for being with us, Invicta. It's been a pleasure having you. Blah blah blah. Which that did make me feel good. That's about the nicest thing that has happened in the now 11 years, almost 12 years of streaming on Twitch. But I'm here to tell you that it's not an easy world to survive in. And I'm always thankful for the world that I do have here, and I'm thankful for you all. And regardless if it's people just not liking the videos, or if it is something screwy with the way that YouTube does things, I mean, who freaking knows? I'm still going to keep doing what I do every single day. Same old Invicta that you all know and love for the last, or hate, for the last forever, since we started doing regular Isaac content back in 2014. And I've continued to do so every single day. I'm still going to be here regardless, because this is my job. This is what I want to do. And I wake up every day being very thankful that I get to talk to you all about all my silly life stories and playing this stupid little game called The Binding of Isaac. So thank you for watching, everyone. Finally had a good banger run to start off November with. Have a great weekend. I've got to go because I've got to start the Pokemon stream. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing. And as always, I'll see you all next time. Until then, so long, everybody. Thanks for watching this video. Like, thanks to patrons of mine like Dummy Boy, Newborn God, Medic Wolf, and Alex Fran. If you'd like to have your name read at the end of an Isaac episode, check out my Patreon campaign, which you can find at patreon.com/Invicta.